All right, Crush Everything, welcome back to this week's Intel Report. It's the week before Thanksgiving, November 17th. A lot of people getting ready to travel, spend time with family. So there are an important couple of things I want to go over. We're going to discuss mindset. I'm going to challenge you guys on a couple things to think about, to go a little bit deeper in your own heart, to make yourself better as a man, as a family member, as a Christian. Also want to go into timers and switches very briefly as we talk about the training that we need to be thinking about. And I'm also going to touch on some local and state laws. We get hit up a lot about questions about that. Also talk about the SMRH launch, talk about some other new blades that we got in the works, and then I'm going to touch on international sales and a couple of updates from EDC and some things we've done out in the industry. First thing with mindset this week is, as we approach these days that we're going to spend more time engaging with family, some people look at this time of the year as the worst part of the year because they have to confront being around people that maybe they've had a hard time with or they've had a challenge with in their lives. So it kind of forces us to be around people. And I think for some people that can be a good thing, and for some people it can be really a challenging thing. I'm not going to say it's bad, because for all of us, we're growing in something. And a lot of times these situations that we're going into open up wounds or things that need to be healed, or justice that needs to be recognized, and what people owe us or what we owe other people as far as these indifferences. So the main idea with this week that was on my heart was talking about unity. In a fallen world with so much division and so many things, especially on media, forcing us to be divided, I want to challenge you guys on something, and this is something that changed my life. Was even in the Bible and in Scripture, it talks about loving our enemies and praying for those that persecute you and loving our neighbor. It does challenge us. When Christ said the greatest commandment is loving God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, and all your strength, and the next one is like it, to love your neighbor as you love yourself, it really is a huge challenge. And the deeper part of that I want to go into is using that as our base to pray for those that persecute us, or to pray for someone immediately when you feel that anger or the frustration or the fact that you feel like you've been wounded. We live in a world where this is always going to be something that comes up. This is always going to be something that we're challenged with. Driving on the road to work, being around family, there's going to be things that happen that are beyond our control and truly beyond our understanding. I think a good instinct for us, and this is my challenge for you guys, is to pray for those people. Instead of your reaction be anger or frustration or anxiety or something that's welling up in you that's human, of human nature, immediately make your instinct to pray for that person. I always talk about St. Paul in Acts. The book of Acts is a whole account of not only the early church, but Paul's conversion, when he was the one persecuting Christians and ultimately became one of the most influential writers in the New Testament. And what does that mean for us? Well, anytime that we look at somebody that we hate or that we oppose, remember that you could be staring at the next Saul to Paul, somebody that was persecuting and murdering Christians and now is one of the most influential people that you could meet. That's a very real thing, and you could contribute to that by your prayers, by your outpouring of love, by your selfless giving in those moments. Regardless of how much they oppose you, I think it's a really difficult thing to do, but it can also be really beautiful in the sense of, like, look, I could get out of my car and beat this guy up, or I could sit here and have some humility and pray for that person's salvation, pray for their soul, pray for the fact that they're so bent out of shape and disordered that I want nothing but the best for them. I want to be able to pray for my enemy or whoever's causing that type of pain and pray for their salvation. And I'm telling you, it will transform your life, because everything becomes a prayer and it doesn't become this instinctual, incessant anger and division. So let that be your rallying cry these holidays coming up in Thanksgiving and Christmas season, is find joy in praying for other people and let that be the spark that changes you and makes you the better example, the better Christian, and allow that to ultimately create unity within your families, within your friendships. And even if that's not recognized right away, it might be something that plants the seed or the spark for them moving forward to remember, like, oh, that person actually prayed for me, it was nice to me, even though I was persecuting them. That might exactly be the difference that saves their soul. Something to think about. Training, we are going into the holidays, so I've talked about it for multiple weeks now. There's going to be a lot of travel involved. There's going to be a lot of things going on that are going to demand your attention. And part of that, of being an asset, is being prepared. I talk about timers and switches often. We carry blades. I'll talk about the laws and the legalities of that in a second, because it's important to arm you guys for what we do know and what we can tell you. But there's a reason I talk about how to use them from a defense perspective, because not only that, they're all over the world, right? You're going to be able to find blades everywhere you go. In every kitchen in the entire planet, you're going to find some type of a knife, a blade, something that you can put to work. So knowing how to use these things, I think, is extremely important. When I talk about timers and switches, those are the two contrasting things that you've heard me discuss, maybe openly or on the blade work videos, but they are things for you to apply that if you're going to actually deploy this thing for a self-defense purpose, know what your different targets are, right? And be specific about them. It's exactly why I understand in jiu-jitsu that either I want to pass this guy's guard, or I want to trap him and hold him back for a second and control his arm, or I want to choke him out. There's different options, and they all have different scenarios. It's the context of the scenario that drives your actions. And blades are no different. You should know what each one of these things do. That's why I encourage you guys to go watch the blade work videos, to level up in understanding, at least know what you're doing and why. The more reps you get in doing that, the more understanding that you're going to have of being able to apply the right thing at the right time. When it comes to the legalities, we get a lot of questions of like, hey, I didn't know I could or couldn't carry, or whatever the case is. Remember, wherever you're at on your property or your home, like, that's your home and your property. You can carry whatever you want in your home and on your property. Outside of that, there are specific rules, right? When you're carrying in public, there's local and state laws that you have to follow. So our encouragement for you is to go look up those local and state laws. Again, I could give you a guideline, but the truth is that they change all the time. It's just like TSA. So it's up to you to keep up to speed with what the local laws are putting out and how to integrate them into your life. There's laws that say you can and can't do this or that, and you need to understand what that means for you, how you're going to carry, why you're going to carry the way that you do, and ultimately have a good reason for it, or a justifiable cause. And again, you're on the X, you're dealing with what you're dealing with in your state, in your situation, so you have to make that judgment call. If you're just blindly going into it saying, I'm just going to figure it out on the fly, you're not really counting the cost. You're not really doing the work that you should be putting into. So keep that in mind when it comes to state and local laws. I think it's really, really, really important. The traveling aspect of what we're doing is that you're more likely during this season to jump on the highway, to jump on a plane, travel on the interstate. So my encouragement is to put a little bit of pre-thought into what you're doing before you travel. If there's a chance that it's going to be cold out and your car is going to break down, or you're going to end up in a situation where you're in a gridlock traffic, or you end up in a situation where there could be a threat on the highway or the interstate, or you do have to pull over, how are you preparing your gear and your mindset and your training for this season? Even just brushing up on some training over the next week or weekend coming up before you leave. Are you proficient in what you plan to do? Do you have the right gear stage in your vehicle? Do you have med gear? Do you have food? Do you have water? Do you have signaling devices? These are all things that should be integrated in your everyday carry. If they're not, why not? Why don't you have a tourniquet in your car? And if they are, then are you just double checking that they're there, communicating with the people around you, so that when something does happen and you're the first one that comes up onto a scene and somebody's bleeding out and you can do something about it, or you run into a situation with your family on the road, can you mitigate these things to the best of your ability because you thought through it? Believe me, I understand this life is extremely complicated. It gets very, very busy and we fly by the seat of our pants. But I do think that there's an element of preparedness and mindset and preparation that really should go into all of these moves, and at least put a little bit of intentionality behind it so you thought through it before you leave. Any good road trip with your family, especially with children, deserves your time. It deserves your 45 minutes to sit down and whiteboard. Do I have what I need? Am I forgetting something that I could simply take, or could I purchase something really quickly that's gonna level us up in a big way? I think that's really important to understand. Okay, on to equipment. So the SMR-H launch went awesome. We sold out within 48 hours. So thank you for everybody that put an order in with us. You guys are gonna be stoked about this blade. I've been waiting for this to come back for a long time, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. So you guys will be getting these very soon, and we will have these kitted out and to you the first week of December. We're putting the last finishing touches on them, and they will be out the door. So you will be able to have these under the Christmas tree. Super stoked to have these back. It's a really awesome blade to carry, very minimalistic. And again, that draw that I talked about pinching there and then just drawing up is very effective. And again, it's out of the way and it's minimalistic. So if you're doing any athletic stuff or even in the gym, you can get away with carrying this one. The spikes, the non-metallic line that we've had a lot of requests and people asking, hey, when are these gonna be back in? We are getting the spikes redone. We are in the process of getting a production run done. We will have those, and as soon as we do, we will be loading them up on the site. Again, if you're subscribed to our email list or newsletter, you will get an alert when we get those reloaded and stocked, ready to go. This Wednesday, we're gonna be doing a gear update and loadout update. And what I mean by that is we're going into Black Friday. And so we know a lot of people are going to be purchasing some of our gear, some of our blades, but not only that, you're going to be purchasing a bunch of other stuff too. There's a lot of great sales and opportunities in this industry around this season. So having said that, I think it's important to prioritize your gear list. You know, if you're putting time into thinking about what you're going to purchase, what are you purchasing and why, and how do you prioritize that loadout? Like, where should you really be spending time thinking about spending your well-earned dollars, and how does that play into what you're choosing to do this season? We could all be irresponsible with our money, or we could put a little bit more intentionality into it, or we could be very purposeful on how we spend our cash. I think it's really, really important to do. I know I do it often. I'll have a whole list of things I'm tracking on nonstop. Like, I want this, 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 and this. I need this, this, and this. I constantly rack and stack and prioritize, and I reassess that list all the time. If something new pops into my head, I usually try to stay away from impulsive purchases when I can prioritize that and say, this is something I've been wanting for a long time. Where does it fit in, and what's my goal in order to get there? I'm gonna break that down more on this Wednesday's video. Okay, Black Friday is coming up. So this is the Engage section, and we release the best sales that we do all year. And I'm telling you that you're gonna wanna get ready. I'm also reminding you, as always, these things go out of stock. So if you're not on our newsletter or not on our text thread, I would get there, because that's where we're gonna send the code out first so you guys can access it quickly and get to the site. And we're always gonna do that before we release the public announcement. And that way you guys can have first access. It's a great opportunity to take advantage of what we have going on if it falls into your priorities, and if it falls on your list to be able to get somebody a gift or, you know, level up your loadout. It's just a great opportunity. And I think that, you know, the gear video will help you guys on Wednesday, and hopefully that you guys watch that as well, and we'll put that out via email. EDC updates. First of all, sales have been still crushing. You know, we are still looking for a local asset that can do social video. I'm eager to work with somebody in the area of Virginia Beach that really wants to come on board, because I think it can really level up the storytelling aspect. We do a lot of cool stuff in the building, a lot of great stuff with EDC, with Dynamis. I think having somebody here is really going to help tell that story more. And again, you know, having a good team is just absolutely essential. So if you know anybody locally, or if you guys have any interest, please reach out to us, intel@crusheverything.com. I've been looking. We've looked at other people, we've interviewed people. It is hard to find great people out there that are going to be a part of the team. EDC did launch a new product, and that is a third calf option, which is called Third Watch. I had that inspiration while sitting in Mass, while listening to the readings. Something that has a lower caffeine content, but you can still enjoy that coffee. To me, it's like, hey, if you're on watch in the middle of the night and you don't want to jack yourself up on caffeine, it's a good sustainable amount of caffeine to still enjoy a cup of coffee, which can wake you up and not give you that whole boost. That's why I thought it was cool to name it Third Watch. And also for people out there that are pregnant or nursing or have a health concern or just really trying to pay attention to their caffeine intake, I wanted to do this one because not only does it taste amazing, but it gives you an option that's less caffeine, allows you to drink a little bit more coffee during the day without that huge caffeine spike. So go check that out on edcbrew.com. That is the Third Watch, 1/3 caffeine option. I think you guys will dig it. It's all organic and it does taste really, really good. I'm actually really impressed with the way that came out. I might have mentioned this already, but Mulligan Brothers, they came in town a couple weeks ago. It was awesome hanging out with Jordan. Really cool story that he has to tell. We did an interview together. We kind of did a little day in the life of, which was awesome to be able to work with those guys. And, I don't post on social media much at all these days. So it was cool to have them follow me with like a daily routine. So definitely look forward to that. Hopefully that's out in the next few weeks. And again, that's Mulligan Brothers. They do some great work to put out inspirational stuff. And I think it's going to be something that you guys will dig. I talked about international sales in the beginning for all those guys out there that want to purchase our stuff internationally. Our friends at Knife Addict in Germany, they are restocked with all of the stuff that we sent to them. So they should be ready to go, ready to serve you guys. If you are international, definitely look them up and that'll help you out. We've had a lot of requests for international over the last 10 years or even since we've started, really 15 years. So this is a solution. This is the beginning of a solution that I think is really going to help our international buyers. It gives them a one-stop shop, makes it really easy for everybody, and I think you guys will dig it. It's all the latest and greatest stuff, but now they're supplying it in Germany. Remember what I said about traveling this week and next week and during the season, guys. Be prepared, be intentional about this stuff. There's a reason I'm harping on it over and over and over again. I really want to make sure everybody is armed with the right equipment, with the right gear, and especially the right mindset and training as you guys go spend time with your family. Also, my challenge. If you made it this far in the video, then my challenge to you is that no matter what happens, no matter who's persecuting you, no matter how hard it is, try to pray for that person instinctually to be like, you know what? Just like Christ said on the cross, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Ultimately, that's something that we need to keep in mind as well, right? I know we could all probably point to a time in our life, if not even right now, where we were just as broken and we're struggling as well. That's why they need our prayers. They need our help. They need our love. And we all need to help each other. That's what creates unity. That's what truly creates a bond and charity that is selfless and irreplaceable. It's like, if we're not going to do it, guys, who is? Who's going to create that unity? If we're praying for those that persecute us, we're praying for our friends to level up, we're praying for ourselves to be better for those around us, then who's going to do it? And ultimately, it's you guys. That's how you become an asset. Be the one that people can lean on and trust no matter what. Trust is literally a treasure in this life. To be trusted is probably the highest thing that you could possibly earn. Think about how much it stinks when somebody doesn't trust you. If you're the person that's praying for the people that are persecuting you, trust me, you're going to be a lot more trustworthy, especially when it comes to team, family, and just being a rock. In this dark place, everybody's struggling. They got things that they're dealing with, but we, to the best of our ability, need to continue to be the light. God bless you guys. I will talk to you again, I'm sure, but I hope that you have a blessed and amazing Thanksgiving, spending time with your family, praying for those that persecute you, and anything else we can do here to serve you guys, please leave a comment below. And I did not get to the comments this week, so I apologize about that, but I will do my best to do it again next week. God bless all of you. Peace.